Okay, today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. Now, unless you haven't been paying attention to any of the news, you have definitely heard of artificial intelligence and all the cool things that it can do. We're going to touch on some of those cool things you can do, but there's a lot of bad things that it can be utilized for, and that's what we're going to spend a lot of time on the unfortunately on the ways that it could be used to infiltrate your network and your people and what to keep an eye out for. So let's start by just talking a brief overview AI. So what is AI, right? So the most basic definition is that an AI is a learning device, right? So basically, if you think of when you go to the internet and you want to do a Google search, and you do a Google search on a word or a phrase or a keyword or something like that, Google's going to come back and give you a list of websites that are most relevant to what you're searching, or at least what it thinks is most relevant to what you're searching. AI does something different. AI looks at those websites ahead of time. It looks at thousands and thousands and thousands, maybe millions of websites. It takes all of that data, culminates it, and what it does, instead of trying to give you a website, it tries to give you an answer. It tries to actually formulate what it thinks is a response. And what it does is uses reasoning and logic to do that. So it takes a look at what you're looking for, and then instead of giving you a list of what it could be, it's almost like trying to talk to you and say, okay, this is what you have coming back. So basically, it's going to also plan and execute. So basically, it's going to try and help plan out and map out what it's going to do. And it's trying to act as intelligent behavior. So what does that mean? That means that when you have an infant, and that infant goes over and it grabs a ball, and that ball is spiky and hard, and it grabs it, and the infant hurts itself. Well, the infant learns not to grab that ball again. And that's what artificial intelligence is trying to do as well. It's trying to learn. So an example would be that you went to look for furniture stores in South Carolina, and all of a sudden Jordan's Furniture comes up. Well, Jordan's Furniture doesn't have a location in South Carolina. So you go back to AI saying, well, does Jordan's Furniture have a location in South Carolina? The AI actually comes back and says, oh, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. It doesn't. And then you go back, you do another search saying, okay, well, give me a list of furniture stores in South Carolina. And Jordan's is now missing. So it actually learned from the response to say, oh, this isn't there. Let me make sure I don't include it in the results from now on. So it's evolving and learning and growing. So it's really cool. So some of the things that you could see AI in is self-driving cars is a really obvious example, but what it's doing is actually looking at the road and looking at the objects in the road and looking at the things in the road. And it's devising basically plans and strategizing on how to get that car around those obstacles or around those navigating options. Virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa, I would kind of call those part of it. I think they're a little bit more on the verge of it, but for using AI for medical diagnosis, this is so cool. So if you go up to WebMD and put in your symptoms, what are you going to get? Most of the time, it's going to tell you, well, you have a rash or you have cancer, right? Like everything's this or cancer. Well, AI is trying to go that one step further and say, oh, well, based on your diagnosis, we've seen this and this and this and this, and coming up with more accurate diagnosis. It's also being used for fraud detection. So they're using it for things like handwriting recognition and all sorts of things to prevent the bad guys. So the opposite of what I'm telling you on this webinar here. So basically, what can AI do? AI can improve the efficiency of your life. So basically, what it can do is do things faster, smarter, better. This is no different than any other technology when it first comes out. AI is extremely useful if used in the right way. Think about taking, if you were to go back to that example of doing a Google search and saying, hey, I want to find all of the car dealerships in this area. It's going to list through the car dealerships. You're going to go through and look at each one. Right? Let's say, what's the most reliable car, right? And you're going to look through. AI is what they're doing is it's doing all that research for you and coming and helping you come to the conclusion itself so that you don't have to do all the legwork. And so it's going to be extremely powerful and hopefully extremely beneficial in what it's doing. We're going to talk about some of the things that it can do, but also some of the bad things it can do as well. So let's let's start with who we are, right? And so we're Braver Technology. We're a managed service provider in the Northeast. We've been around for 30 years now. We've been doing this for 30 years, helping our clients navigate the IT industry, both the good parts of it and the bad parts of it. None of our team works on commission. We all work on honest advice. Our team is graded on customer satisfaction. How well did they take care of our customers? Okay, let's get into the actual meat of the subject. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about what is AI. We talked about that. We're going to talk about the threat, AI in the hands of hackers. We're going to talk about understanding the tactics that the bad guys use. Detecting AI. How are we going to help detect AI? And then talk about strengthening the cybersecurity and mitigating the risk. Okay, so AI. So basically, hackers. We all hate them, right? So you are really good at your job. The hackers are really good at their job. And this is their job. This is what they do. AI is another tool that they use. They have a whole arsenal of tools that they could use to infiltrate networks. AI is yet another one that they're going to use. And so basically, it's starting to play more and more of a role in what they're doing and how they're doing it. What are they using this for? They're using it to generate fake emails. Now, what do I mean by fake emails? Phishing emails have been around forever, right? They're using it for a whole nother level of emails. What they're doing is instead of scripting an email and sending it out to a bunch of people, it's actually handcrafting that email based on your interests or who you are or about your company or all that information. It's a custom phishing email that's written just to take advantage of you and your team. Bad news. All right. They're going to fake news articles. Why do you care if they're writing fake news articles? Here's what they're doing with those fake news articles. They're trying to put those articles out to entice you to click them. They want you to click on that fake news article so that you go into the bad site and you go into the bad actor location. Bad news, right? Same thing with the fake websites. Once you're there, they want to make that website look like it is the real website. They want to make it look like you're actually going to to an actual location. So, and what they're going to do from that, they're going to capture the credentials. They're going to get your login and your password. And again, if you think you don't care about them getting into your Facebook account, watch some of our other security webinars. You'll find out all the incredible information that they could do and all the bad things they can do if they get just your Facebook data. Fake social media posts. Again, what they're trying to do is go in and get you to click on those social media posts. They're trying to find things that are geared towards you and your interests, things that celebrities that you might want to watch, and things that you might want to hear about celebrities. We're going to talk about a couple of them coming up on what you see. They can do fake reviews. This is just more annoying than anything else, right? But bots are used to create fake reviews in the industry. Okay, next thing I do is fake images. This one's kind of funny, right? Gandhi taking a selfie. Can't get much funnier than that, right? But we're going to tell you why this can be dangerous in a little bit. All right, so here's some scenarios. So basically, here's what we're talking about, that fake content in the social media, what they're trying to get people to click on. So this was a rumor that got out by AI saying that Joe Biden is dead, right? And then AI kept feeding itself as well. So now what they're doing is they're getting people to click on this content and dig in and then get to the bad sites. All right, voice cloning. This is probably what I would consider the scariest part of AI right now, at this moment right now, is voice cloning. With as little as 3 seconds of your voice, they can emulate an entire conversation from you. That means your CEO, with just a little bit of their voice, they can, maybe he or she was recorded doing some introduction or something like that. They can take that, now use that to call the people in your own company and say, hey, I want to do an HR change for payroll systems. I want to do a bunch of gift cards to this person. I want to wire this payment to another location. All the bad things that you can think of, they can do that. First and foremost, let me give you a way to thwart this. Call back on a known number. You have to call somebody back on a number that you know that they have. And this is the same thing with your customers, same thing with your vendors. Call them back on a known number to make sure. Here's an example of how this happened. So basically, fraudulent, the bad guys used an AI to mimic a CEO's voice and then was able to fraudulently transfer $243,000 from the company using AI to emulate the CEO's voice. This is actually happening. This is not something in theory. This is actually happening. Okay, so deepfakes. Now take the voice cloning and take it to a very interesting level. All right, here we are with the really cool deepfake, very funny, everything like that. But what happens if you combine the voice cloning and then you combine a video of a deepfake? You could literally be thinking that you're having a video conference with the CEO of your company, and it's not them. And they're telling you to do things as the CEO, but it's not them. This is becoming very scary. This is becoming very, very interesting and very difficult to thwart. You're on a video conference with the CEO of your company, and you're not sure if it's the CEO of your company. That's kind of scary, right? Chatbots. So many support sites, Chase, Amazon, you name it, they use chatbots for support. And you trust those chatbots. But what happens if you're on the wrong site and the wrong chatbot comes up? And that chatbot is controlled by a bad AI, an AI that's controlled by the bad actors. Well, that chatbot could start sending you links to do things that you think are perfectly valid, but they're not. They could be links to harmful material and harmful locations. We're going to show you what some of those harmful ones look like in a little bit as well. Pretty scary. All right. Assisted social engineering. This is a lot of what we talked about, but think about this, right? Social engineering, we have a whole webinar on social engineering. You should definitely watch it. But now think about what AI can do to help those bad guys in social engineering. When I want to social engineer somebody, some of the things I want to have is I want to have a list of their employees. I want to have a list of the roles that their employees do. I want a list of their customers, a list of their vendors. If I have that information, I can start social engineering your team so easy. And again, I'm not going into the details here because we have a whole nother webinar on hacking and how that can be done, but it's fairly easy. Employees, customers, vendors. I can tell you I only need 2 out of those 3 to socially engineer a team and to get them to do things. That's all I need is 2 out of those 3. AI is going to give us that. Automated phishing attacks. So again, think about what we talked about. Now, these are the numbers behind it. Once artificial intelligence and ChatGPT and all the other guys started coming out, all of a sudden the effectiveness of phishing emails went through the roof because they were able to target their victims spot on, so much easier. That was a huge problem, right? So we have to know how to get around these. We're actually going to need so there's something called spear phishing, where basically you're taking an email and targeting it towards somebody specifically. I don't even think that term is going to be accurate enough. We're going to need something even more accurate than spear phishing because these are going to be so targeted based on information that they're getting out of you and out of the web and everything that you have up there. All right. So what they're looking for basically is information on trend analysis. Where are you going? Where are you going? So they know when you're on vacation. They know what your favorite car is. They know what your favorite band is. They know information. So that's where they're going to take. All right, password cracking. Think about what an unlimited amount of information can be used to crack passwords now, right? So now, if you think about the common passwords that they're using, these AI bots can start coming up with your favorite restaurant, your street you grew up on, your kid's birthday, your anniversary, your kids' names, your cat's names. Those are all out on the web somewhere. AI is going to find them, and they're going to use those, and now they're going to start attacking your password based on that information. The amount of time to hack into a password once AI came out dramatically decreased in the industry. So now we need even stronger passwords. Please, 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 2-factor authentication. Could not get any more important. All right, let's talk about malware. Malware is taking on a whole nother level now. Now, the malware itself has artificial intelligence into it. So now think of almost literally a virus in your system. And the virus is going after, it's looking at your immune system's coming in, and the virus is going around the immune system. Well, this malware is doing the same thing. The malware is coming in and saying, oh, well, you have this AV. Oh, let me work this way. Oh, you have this threat detection. Let me work this way. It's actually going in, looking at what you have, and automatically weaving its way through your network because it's smart enough to actually see, detect, and go through. It's go, oh, you don't have this Windows patch? Oh, let me go this way. Oh, you have this locked down? Okay, let me come over here this way. It's actually smart enough to act on its own. The malware itself has an intelligence in it. It's incredibly scary, right? The other thing you think of with bots, they can launch large-scale attacks. So now you have so much power. You have a collective assortment of computers that can attack all at the same time in a more coordinated fashion. That gives scale now to the level of attacks. So now the quantity of attacks can go into fast. Or it could be a massive amount going after a single point. Either way, they have the options available to them. Okay, so let's go into the machine learning. So basically, by training AI models, basically what they're doing is starting to find patterns in what you do. And why is that important? Well, they're starting to look, when do you start work? When do you end work? When do you typically go on vacation? Where do you typically go on vacation? Now what they can do is they can say, oh, well, this person usually starts at 9 o'clock. Perfect, the HR person starts at 8:30. I'm going to send an email to the HR person as this person before they even get in. This person typically goes on vacation from this time to this time. That's when I'm going to start to attack. So now they have information about what your normal habits are by combing the web. Okay. So basically what they're doing is going through large amounts of data collection, and they're finding key people in your organization, they're finding clients that belong to you, finding information about your employees, and finding your vulnerabilities, and then identifying patterns, right? So that's a summary of what we just talked about. All right, so how does this work? Of course, there's giving real life examples, right? So basically, somebody was using AI to steal a bunch of to mitigate an attack, and on that attack, they ended up stealing 725 Bitcoin on the attack, just by using AI to coordinate that attack. They're also using AI to look at security systems, using AI to start poking holes in the security systems that are in place. Last one that we're talk about is hallucinations. Hallucinations are dangerous for different reasons. Not really dangerous, the more of a problem, right? So hallucinations AI has this fundamental issue right now. And it's almost like a dream. They call it hallucinations, where they will actually, you ask them to write a thesis. It'll write a thesis, and in that thesis, it will actually quote quotes from a book or from a magazine, including pictures, biographies, and everything of the author that don't exist. The authors and the books don't exist, and they're quoting them firsthand. This happened in real life. So there was some lawyers that decided to use ChatGPT for their case. And what do you know? ChatGPT gave them a whole bunch of information, cited a whole bunch of case examples. The defendant's lawyers came back, tried to find those cases. They didn't exist. And so the judge threw out the whole case. That was just lazy. I don't know how else to put that. That's just lazy. Okay, so basic tips for identifying, right? So what you're doing is looking for, so one, use 2FA, right? Use multi-factor authentication. That is a no-brainer all the time, every time, right? Look for unusual activity. Be suspicious of emails for unknown senders. That should be a no-brainer. You should have a notice on your emails when they're coming in that says this is from the outside. This is extremely important that you have this now, right? You should have a notice on every email that comes from the outside that says this is from the outside, because they're going to try and emulate the people inside your building. You're going to use security software, right? We use Sentinel-1 with 24/7 SOC. Keep your software up to date. We do regular updates on all of our clients' computers. There's a reason for that, to keep all the security patching. Back up your data regularly. We back up our clients' data throughout the day, not just once a day. Educate your staff. That's what the training videos are for, right? Check on the website. Look for the domain name. Does the domain name look legitimate or does it look fake? Does it look like it was professionally designed? Does it look like it's canned? Look for the contact information. Does it match anything? Never ever pay by bank transfer. That is huge. You should have some kind of checks and balances set up with your bank that says, hey, if somebody's requesting either an ACH or a wire transfer, make sure it says X or Y. Don't just do it, right? Anytime you get a request in the email, so your finance department is probably the most vulnerable for this, right? So anytime your finance department gets any kind of request for anything financial related, have them call the vendor or the client by the phone number that you already know. Don't use anything in the email to use something on a known number, right? And then on the website, look for reputation, privacy policy. Okay, some strategies for staying safe, right? Train your employees. These webinars are important. That's why we do them. That's why we spend the time doing. That's why we put them up for free. We do not charge anything for these. It's important that you train your employees. Have a plan in place. Have an incident response plan. There's a link on our website that we'll show you in a second that has a plan, a template for a policy plan that you can put in place. It's free. Enforce the security policies. Make sure your team knows what your security policies are and enforce them. Stay up to date on the latest threats. That's part of these webinars. Have a layered security approach. Don't just rely on one thing, rely on multiple things. We don't rely on just one thing to secure your network, rely on multiple things for it. 24/7 SOC. This is so critical. Every single one of our clients is protected by an EDR with a 24/7 SOC. This is people looking around the clock, monitoring your network, making sure that it detects the bad guys as much as possible. It is not going to help you from social engineering, and it's not a whole bunch of things that it's not going to help you with, right? But it is going to tech you on the detection, right? Social engineering, all those things, that's what this training is for. That's where you got to keep your team up to date on. Security scorecards. We'll give you regular security scorecards. Look at them, pay attention to them, act on them. There's a reason that we give them to you. Security policy template. These are a whole bunch of policy templates that we can make available to you so you can use them in-house to be part of your policy. We have an entire cybersecurity division that's dedicated to nothing but cybersecurity. They do another level. We have them audit ourselves. We literally have them audit ourselves once a year to make sure that we're up to date. Do they find things? Yes, they do. I'd rather they find them so that we can change them than the bad guys find them. So they will do threat detection, they'll do testing, listed out here. They do audits, security assessments, risk assessments, internal penetration. If you're going for NIST, CMMC, SOC 2, these are the guys that are going to help you with that. This is what they do. They live, breathe, and eat cybersecurity, right? Great people to engage with, absolutely incredible. Okay, let's cover what we talked about. We talked about AI in the hand of hackers, what's happening with them, understanding the dangers and tactics of AI, detecting AI, protecting yourself, strengthening the cybersecurity space, and how to educate your employees. Let's talk about that a little bit more. Weekly cybersecurity tips. We send out weekly cybersecurity tips to your team to make sure they are educated and up to date. We have all of our training, everything up on our website. Everything is there for your team. It is free. All you have to do is go to our cybersecurity site. Everything you want is right there. Okay, so we'll go through. Let's watch the animation and show you where it is. Okay, you go there, resources, go to cybersecurity training, click on it. Here's all of our training. It's free. It's up there. Along with that, there's a whole bunch of guides and free guides you can click on that'll give you free downloads, right? Phishing training. A lot of these trainings are shorter, and they're shorter intentionally to make them easier for your team to watch. Even this one, when it's done, is going to be less than 30 minutes. All right. Great animation. All right. Here's us. This is how to contact us. If you have any questions, if you have anything at all, reach out. We're here to help you and guide you through this anytime. That's what we're here for. If you have any questions, everything you need is right here, hopefully. Thank you so much for your time. Stay safe.